Can you give us any condition update on the sheriff's deputy that was involved?
He's fine. He's fine.
What exactly transpired to this?
Prisoner Derek White was being transferred from a jail to the court for a hearing. During the course of putting him into a holding cell awaiting presentation to the court, he used a comb that had been fashioned into a shank to overcome the deputy, stabbed him several times in the neck. During the time that after he stabbed the deputy, he took the deputy's clothing, took his keys, got on the prisoner elevator, and he escaped from the building. During the course of his escape, he apparently has carjacked a civilian. We have located the vehicle that was carjacked, and we are in the process of tracking this prisoner now.
Benny, anything like this ever happened in the past?
I'm sure it has. I mean, that's something that we will obviously look into. But he just overpowered. He overpowered the deputy. He had a plastic comb that he had turned into a weapon, something that wouldn't have been picked up on the metal detectors that we use to ensure that folks are not armed.
So he was alone. The suspect was alone.
No, actually, the deputy was transporting 3 prisoners into the holding cell.
Alone.
The deputy was alone. And he had placed 2 of the prisoners in. He unhandcuffed the 3rd prisoner, the one who escaped, and was putting him into the cell block. That's when he was overcome.
Can you tell us about the deputy? What's his condition?
Oh, he's fine. He's in temporary serious condition.
Where was he stabbed?
Several times in the neck.
So were these flesh wounds or
No,
wounds?
they were puncture wounds. Fortunately, it was a plastic comb. The part of the comb that he was stabbed with broke. And so it did not inflict any life-threatening injuries to him.
How long before he got help that the deputy got help?
He actually called for help after he recovered. The deputy himself accessed the court's phone and called for assistance, and that's when help arrived.
So this guy was moving pretty
Sheriff Benny Napoleon right now live on 7 Action News. You're hearing from him live right now.
Well, because he took part of the deputy's uniform, he had the keys. He obviously paid very close attention to how this whole process works. Once he overcame the deputy, who was alone, which is a normal process based upon our staffing levels, it's not unusual for the whole process is a process that occurs thousands of times a year.
Benny, safe to say that a lot of procedures are going to be reviewed as this investigation continues?
From what we know at this point, it appears that the procedures, for the most part, were proper. I have a concern about this comb that the inmate had, but as far as the actual following the procedures, he was handcuffed at a time when he would have normally been handcuffed to be put into a cell, and that's when he overpowered the deputy. One of the things that might help prevent that is that the deputy does not have to do this alone, but that's a staffing issue.
When the deputy was overpowered like this, you have a situation where how much time passed when this guy was...
You're listening live to Sheriff Benny Napoleon talking about one of his own deputies overcome by an inmate that was in the middle of transport. Let's take a listen.
Very quick. We're in the process of looking. No, the deputy was, well, let me answer Roop first. It was very quick. He overpowered the deputy, took his clothing, got on the elevator, and escaped, probably within a very short few minutes.
And the deputy was laying on the floor the whole time?
The deputy was incapacitated.
So did he?
Hold on, I'm going to answer this question. He was not armed. As a matter of practice, deputies who transport prisoners from the jail to the court are not armed, just to make sure that this person would not have access to a weapon during the course of that transport.
I'm sorry, did he